Good morning, Fox Pack. Welcome to our first ever Tech Talk Tuesday. This will be a thing we do every Tuesday. If you haven't seen the last video, where we'll talk about just topics. It could be VQ stuff. It could be anything. It could be stuff on the ATVs. Just anything we really want to talk about, really. And that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna make it a new series every Tuesday. So yeah, here's episode number 1. And today we're going to talk about short ram intakes. It was highly requested that this would be the first topic. You can suggest some topics on Instagram, so be sure to hit me up on there if you have any ideas. I'd be glad to take them. So, short ram intakes. You know, what haven't I said at this point? They're just, let's face it, they're one of the worst mods you can do to your VQ. One of the worst mods. Now, there's a lot of short ram intakes for, you know, different cars and stuff like that. The problem with them being on the VQs is it's just bad. And it's bad for the car. I highly suggest you check out why you should never install short ram intakes on your G37 VQ. I forget exactly what I titled it, but you'll be able to see what it is. I made a video about this. I highly suggest you check it out. I've just explained basically why it's just horrible to do this. So short ram intakes, you know, they're sold, I believe, mainly by the mainstream K&N. And the wonderful K&N Typhoon air intakes that they make for these things, and you can find them on Amazon. And I'm gonna be the first to admit that I almost made the same mistake when I was looking for intakes for the very first time. I was just getting into VQs, and I just didn't really know what I was doing. The fact is, I just did the research before I bought them, and then come to find out they're terrible for the VQ. So why are they so terrible? It's simply because of heat soak. Now people are gonna, you know, try and stand by the part, which I'm gonna explain in a minute why they do that, and they're gonna try to say, oh well, they're just as good as long tube intakes. No, they're not. I don't care what anybody says, they're not. So this heat that they suck in from the engine bay, for those of you who don't know or are new to VQ, this engine runs incredibly hot. I'm not lying, this is probably one of the hottest running engines I have ever seen. It's absolutely astounding to me how hot this engine runs. And, you know, especially, you know, if you have headers or something, or you don't have heat shields like I do, it gets hot under there. Like, it's really, really hot. But even on a stock G, you know, even with heat shields, those intakes, I don't give a shit if they have a shield around them or not. The heat rises up from those exhaust manifolds. There's still heat getting past the heat shields. Not all the heat is, you know, dissipated from the fucking heat shields. It just doesn't do it. There's still heat there. There's heat from the side of the engine, just the natural engine heat, and the exhaust that's underneath that heat shield. It just gets hot. So, you know, heat still gets to it. It rises up over that shield. It finds its way in there, and it's just what happens. I mean, that heat's just got nowhere to go, especially if you're, you know, just sitting there idling. It's gonna find its way to the intake. But one of the biggest things that are overlooked about these, the actual heat from the radiator. That is where it becomes a really big deal about heat soak. These things sit right behind the radiator. That radiator fan kicks on, it's blowing that hot air right into the filter. And you could argue, oh, well, not when the car is moving. No, when the car's moving, you're still getting air blowing across that radiator. The radiator fans are just mainly there for, you know, if the car is running too hot, or when the car's running stationary, that's when those fans kick on the most. And of course, AC. But when you're driving, you're still getting air coming through that radiator, and it's still coming right to those short ram intakes, and it's just hot. You'll get intake temperatures well above 100 degrees. And no exaggeration, if you don't believe me, you can do the research. It's there. The temperatures get well above 100 degrees. And it's bad. So essentially, you are making less power than you would stock. That's why people always preach, you know, oh, you'll be better off running stock intakes versus short ram intakes. You're going to make more power. And they're right, you will. On top of it, short ram intakes are an absolute nightmare to tune. You cannot get a clean pass out of them. It's just not a good mod. You know, that's basically why they're bad. And, you know, it's just, you shouldn't put them on. Now, why do people put these on? Well, it's a couple reasons. One, they're new, like I was when I almost bought them. They're new. They don't really know what they're doing. They just assume it's good. They, you know, and understandably, they won't think about that because everybody puts short ram intakes on their cars in most cases. But this car you just can't, and they don't know any better, and you know, I can't fault them for that. And the other thing too is that this is what really aggravates me. People who think they know what they're talking about are telling people, and who have short rim intakes, they're acting like it's a good mod. And I've seen this all over the place. People will buy these mods. A perfect example is the Admin Tune. They want to back up the money that they spent. It's like a buyer's remorse kind of thing. They want to back up their mod or tune because they spent a lot of money on it, and they want to think that it's good, but it's actually not, and they know deep down that it's not a good mod. And this is what leads to bad spreading of bad information. Yeah, people just want to, it's a buyer's remorse, and then they pass it on to other people who don't know any better that it's a good mod, and it isn't. And if you have short rams on your G37, dude, I highly suggest that you take them things off and put your stock airboxes back on, because short ram intakes can lead to limp mode. I've seen it firsthand with my guy Moogie's car and Khaled's car. They just cause ridiculously abysmal intake temperatures, and it's just not, it's bad. This leads to ignition knock, all kinds of shit. It's not good. My surprise is how expensive those K&N short ram intakes are. They're like, it costs almost as much as Stillen's. Why? What makes them cost as much as Stillen's? They're shorter, less material, but maybe, I don't know. So anyway, guys, those are my thoughts on short ram intakes. Don't get them. If you have them, get rid of them. Get yourself some long tube intakes. I don't think you should get Stillen's anymore. They're way overpriced. Check out Z1's intakes. If you want a 3-inch intake and you know you're going to tune the car, check out the UPT 3-inch intakes. They're $450 shipped. Best bang for your buck intakes. They have great fitment, and they're just awesome. So, yeah, stay away from the short rim intakes. Don't run away from short rim intakes, and just don't use them, and don't listen to what people try to tell you. But yeah, that's going to wrap up our first Tuesday Tech Talk. We'll get into a lot more stuff. We got a lot of people suggesting stuff. Once again, if you want to suggest a topic, feel free to hit me up on Instagram. And yeah, we got a lot to talk about. There's some pretty good topics that have come in. So but yeah, tune in for next week, and we'll try to get one out every Tuesday. And then, of course, along with the main video, sometimes we'll have 2 main videos a week. And I hope you guys really enjoyed this. Make sure you smack that like button if you did. And we will be back with more very soon. Don't forget to subscribe, join the Fox Pack today, hit the bell notifications to be notified when we do something stupid. Follow our page at Silver Fox Racing Group, and you can follow me on Instagram at SilverFoxG37, so you can see all the G37 content behind the scenes and all the behind the scenes of the Acid Tree. Once again, thank you all for 1,000 subscribers. Really, really means the world to me, and it just motivates me to keep going and doing more for you guys. So, and we got some great stuff coming. So remember, life is too short to stay stuck, and it's only legal if you get caught. Stay Foxy.